Hey guys, it's Nicole and I'm back to share a card with you. So I'm starting with some Neenah Solar White cardstock. I think this is the 80 pound and it's cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I'm using 3 of the Simon hybrid dies. I believe the first one is, I want to say apricot? No, duckling. I start with duckling and then I go into melon and then lastly apricot. And I'm using the Mini Cloud Edges by My Favorite Things. I just got this die, the stencil, and I've used it, I think, on 6 different cards already. I'm obsessed with it. It's just amazing. It makes such a beautiful background with little to no effort. And then I'm also really addicted to these Simon inks. I've had a few of them, and then I got a couple more just to kind of complete the collection. And I don't know, they just blend really well. So between each color, you'll see me, I'm just using a baby wipe to kind of clean off my stamp, just so that I'm not cross-contaminating my colors. And then I'm using this Tim Holtz blending tool to blend my colors. And I'm slightly rotating my stencil every couple times just to get, either I'm tipping it or I'm using a different side just to get some variety in the colors I'm using. So originally when I looked at the colors of these inks just by looking at the label, I thought that melon was the mid-tone, but I actually think it's the darkest. And so I kind of wanted to go darkest to lightest, but that didn't end up happening. So I sort of just went with it. I was going for kind of like a sun setting scene, but I'm rotating my colors now. I'm doing 1/3 of the paper in each color. And I've just been since I haven't gotten my new Hip Kit Club, I think I'm on the April kit. Yeah, this is my 3rd kit. I'm waiting on the April kit. I've just been making a ton of cards in the interim because really all of the supplies that I use for 12 by 12 layouts are either stuff I recently got at Tuesday morning or from my stash, and then I basically use the bulk of my Hip Kit Club kit, and I usually get the Project Life kit, the main kit, and then the embellishment kit, and that lets me make probably a good 10 layouts. I could definitely make more out of it, but then I start getting kind of bored with the stuff and I have to start adding some of my own stuff. But in the interim, I've just been making a ton of cards, sort of replenishing my stock, and I've been having just a lot of fun doing it. So I decided to film one of them. I've made so many and not filmed them that I decided I had some time this evening to film another. So here I'm just going back and sort of making some transition colors. I'm kind of blending the bottom 2 colors together to see it sort of transition in the sky, and then I'm going to do the same on the bottom here. I'm just going to add a little bit of that duckling color so that it's not stark white. I do cut this off camera using an MFT Blueprints die, and it's just the stitch rectangle. So I think I do that off camera and then I come back. So I'm showing you the final product here. Here I am. This is the MFT Blueprints set that I'm using. I couldn't tell you which number it is. And then the remainder of my card is made using the Mom Elephant Charmed stamp set and the dies that go along with it. I'm going to be stamping the little owl here and then also that banner. I go out of focus here for a second, so I apologize. I'm not sure why that happens, but it'll come back in focus here in a second, I believe, after this part. So I'm using my Misty to stamp it so that I could get a good clean image. If you're wondering why my pointer fingernail is blue and the rest are a different color, it's because my agency does stuff for child welfare, and it's National Child Abuse Awareness Month, and so we had a campaign going on called the Manicure, and everyone painted their pointer finger blue. So that's why it looks like that. My oldest told me that it looked weird. Sorry, my alarm keeps going off. So now that I've stamped it, we should come back into focus here, and I'm going to do some Copic coloring. And, I'm by no means a pro at this. I try to do my best to remember to put the caps there, but since this image is so small, I'm just doing 2 color blending here. I'm using BV25 to do all the drop shadows, and then I'm using BV23 to sort of blend it out. And I'm doing that to certain parts of the owl's feathers, and then I'm going to do the remainder of the parts using some cool tone grays here in a second. So I'm just coloring really simply here, nothing too intense or nothing too super toned. And I always start with my darkest and then I go to my lightest. And when I'm doing two color blending, I go back with my darkest again just to add a little bit of highlights like on her little ears there. I'm so sorry that alarm keeps going off. And now I'm doing C3 and C5. I'm starting with C5 just to do a drop shadow underneath her neck where it would be. And then there's like a little part of her belly that's kind of lined that I'm also doing, and her face as well. And I guess I'm making my light source straight from the center because I'm doing the shadowing on both sides of her face. There was really no rhyme or reason to that. The sun's setting behind her in this image that I'm going to be making for my card, so it didn't really matter how I laid it out. And then I think I forget when I'm doing the owl's beak. Oh no, I do remember here. So it's YRO2 that I'm putting on the beak, and I'm doing no blending here. The image parts are too small, and then her little feet are also YRO2. Then I just kind of started up my white gel pen to make sure it was working okay, and I'm adding some little dots to above her eyes and then on that outer edge of her tummy, and I really like the way that that turned out. Now I'm taking, and I forget to put the caps down, but I will eventually catch myself, I am taking that same YRO2 that I used for the beak, and I'm also using it here on the outer edges, and then I have E93 and YRO1. So I'm just blending that all out, not really, doing anything too intense here. I think right now I'm like, oh, I forgot to put the caps out. So this is the order I'm doing, YRO2, E93, and YRO1, and I'm just shading this in. And then I'm going to do those outer little flag tips of the banner. My alarm needs a new battery, and I don't have any 9-volt battery, so I do apologize that it just keeps incessantly going off. And so I'm just finishing up here, and then I'm going to take it over to my die cutting machine. I got the, what is it called? Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but the automatic die cutting machine. I invested in that when I sold a bunch of my scrapbooking stuff, and it's been a dream. I think it's that Crafter's Companion one that's purple. Can't think of the name right now for whatever reason, but it's amazing. It does a great job, and I heard people complaining that it warped their plates, but if you keep rotating your plates and flipping them over and turning them constantly and moving where you put your dies and not just centering them always on the plates, I've cut hundreds of images. I think I've made like 20 cards since I've gotten it, and it works like a dream. So I'm just finishing up, and you didn't see me, but I also cut some of these hearts out and colored them with the same colors that I used on the owl and the banner image. So now I'm showing you there that I did that stitching edge, and I'm going to start assembling here. And so my plan is I want to hang some of those, first I'm putting my sentiment, which is, it says happy, happy birthday, and I'm using some of, I believe what onyx ink I'm using. I think it was the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And then I am taking this little stitched kind of piece that comes with the stamp set here. All it is, it just has little like dots. VersaFine, yeah, that's what I used. So it just has this little line of dots, and I'm going to kind of hang from the upper right hand corner, and I stamped a little crooked there, but I'm going to show you how I fix that in a little bit. Sorry that my head's in the way. I want to stamp them at differing lengths to kind of hang those hearts from the corner. And I noticed I went crooked because I was too afraid to get my head in the camera initially. So that first line got a little crooked, but I'm just using some glossy accents. And these bottles, they are a dream. I need to share these with you guys. I got them on Amazon. I got a pack of 20 for like $7.99. They never clog. These are great. And if they get gunked up when you are all done using your glue, I mean, they come in a pack of 20. So you could always, if you don't want to fill it with a different glue, you can just start a new bottle. So everywhere that line didn't connect properly, I'm putting a heart, one of the smaller hearts, to cover that up. So I'm doing that here, and then I'm going to put my banner and my owl on the left bottom hand side. I just love the colors of this card. I love the yellows and oranges with this purple. I liked it so much that I made a second one off camera so that I would have two in my stash because I was sad to part with just one. I just think it came out so cute. And it could be used for a baby. Oh, I'm showing you here. So that's going to be the base of my card. And I already have a few black pieces of cardstock that I automatically stamp on the back and emboss. Then, you know, it's those handmade stamps. This one says one-of-a-kind card for a one-of-a-kind person. I pre-stamp those. So one day when I may be just like watching TV, I'll pre-stamp and emboss like 10 or 15 of them just so I have them on hand. And then I also, you'll see my tape runner was giving me a real issue here. I have that same stitched rectangle that I used on the front of the card. I use a smaller size one, and I probably cut out 30, 40 just white pieces of Neenah Solar White cardstock to always put on the inside of my cards that are black so that I have a place to write my sentiment. So here I'm just trying to get everything adhered down, but of course nothing was cooperating at the time. So I'm setting this, that's black paper from Paper Tray Ink. I don't know the exact name of it. And then I have my owl on dimensional adhesive, and I'm going to pop her right on the top of the little frame. And then just to add a little bit of an accent, I'm going to cover all those hearts in glossy accents as well as the owl's beak and little feet and let them dry. And then at the end, I have a picture of the final card and then a little close-up of the owl so you can see the little white dot detail and how she came out because she's so cute. But thanks for coming. Sorry I haven't had a lot of videos posted. It's been a little crazy here, but I'm doing my best to kind of keep things consistently on my channel. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.